Spotlight on Departments. Today, I'm really excited to be spotlighting our ESL program, and I'm happy to be joined by the head of our ESL department, Miss Donna El Zaid, or Miss Z, as everybody knows her, to the call.
Thank you. Good morning, Mike. As Mike said, my name is Donna Zaid, and I'm the ESOL Department Chair. I'm going into my 12th year at North Broward Prep, and I'm really happy to be here today and talk to you about our program at North Broward.
Yes, and my name is Mike Rodgers. I am the boarding admissions manager at North Broward Prep, and I work with families both international and from the United States, but obviously a lot of my work is with international families. So the ESL department is very, very important to what I do. So I work very closely with Donna, and I'm looking forward to a great conversation today. So Donna, you highlighted that you are the chair of the ESL department, but you do so much more than that. So let's talk about some of the other ways that you're involved with campus life, and particularly with our boarding students.
So like I said, I'm going into my 12th year at North Broward, and ever since I started there, I've been very involved with the residential program, and I work almost every weekend as a residential assistant. So it involves, taking the students on trips, going on to activities with them. But it's something I really enjoy doing because the students see you in a different way, and also I get to be with the students in a different way. And I also am the swim coach and part of the lacrosse program at North Broward. So.
Awesome. Lacrosse is a really interesting sport because it's not played in many places around the world. So particularly, like, I noticed some Brazilian students that were trying the sport out. And I think it's awesome that our athletic program is not just for accomplished athletes, but it's also for people who want to learn the sport and be part of it. What's your experience for those kind of kids who are just trying a sport for the first time?
That's one of the fantastic things about the athletic department is that, all the students are welcome to participate. And but with both swim and lacrosse, we've seen a huge growth in participation, especially with the international students. And some of them have never played before. Some of them might have played, once or twice, but they've all come out really, motivated and excited and to be a part of it. And from that, they've really gotten to build some, bonded with a lot of the other students on the team, which has been good for them. So
awesome. Yeah, we really do have a culture of fitness on campus, and that's just one avenue of students being able to kind of plug into the community. There's lots of ways to plug in. We have a strong art program. We have a really strong business and speech and debate program, robotics. So not to get too off track, because our focus today is on the ESL program, but I want to make the point that new students are supported in so many different ways. The ESL program is just one real obvious example, but there's a lot of social support as well. So let's drill down a little bit into what ESL is like. And I know you have a slideshow that you can share, and maybe that can kind of direct our conversation into, so I don't overlook any details. But let's start from a really broad perspective. What's our philosophy in the ESL program? What do you see that department's role as?
Well, for our role and within our ESOL department, one of our biggest goals for the students is to get them to be confident and to feel that once they leave our program that they're going to succeed, and they're going to be able to, be a part of, the other classes and feel good about who they are in themselves. So when the students come, we're building all 4 modalities of English. So we're, increasing their listening, speaking, writing, and reading. But like I said, the main thing we're doing is pushing the confidence for the students and getting them ready to be out and to go into CP honors and the IB program. So we have a very rigorous program within the ESOL department, and we mirror what the English department does so that the students are ready when they leave our program.
Okay, so from a content area, ESL is getting the same content.
Yes,
It's just taught in a way that doesn't leave anybody behind and builds up skills.
exactly. So we do a lot of scaffolding and differentiation because, as I'll explain later, within our different levels, we have levels within each level. So we've got to make sure that we're hitting every student needs. We're looking at their strengths and areas where they need a little bit more, support. So.
Okay. Do you want to go ahead and share your slide,
Yes.
your slideshow?
Can. Okay. Can you?
Yep, I can see it.
So we have 8 teachers within our department, and it ranges from middle school and high school. We're all ESOL certified. Some have masters in it, in ESOL. Some have their certification, but we are all trained on some level to teach our students. And most of us have been teaching ESOL for quite a while, which brings a lot of, different ideas and strengths to the program.
So I think the important point for everybody to understand is that what makes an ESOL teacher special is that not only are they subject area masters, whether they're, it's English or history or, what subject they're teaching, but they're also, English as a second language specialists. So they understand both culturally as well as developmentally what it's like to learn the language in this environment. So you're getting the best of both worlds in our program with our teachers' backgrounds.
Exactly. So I went over our ESOL mission and our overview, and I'll go into more detail about the levels that the students place into and assessments as well. So Mike, if you have any questions that you'd like to ask, and I can find them within the slide, or if you just want me to.
Sure. Yeah, let's talk about levels because that's one of the worries when I speak with international students. In my role as admissions manager, they're not quite sure how strong their English is at this point. So what do we do to sort of identify where they're at and then meet them there and help them move forward in their English development? What are some of the assessment opportunities?
Okay, so when the students first arrive, the students that are brand new to the school, they come in August, and they take 3 assessments. So they take an EPT test, which tests or assesses their vocabulary, listening, reading, and grammar. And then we have a fluency where we have, we're testing their speaking skills. It's not so much pronunciation, it's more their fluency. And then the writing, which I would say we put quite a bit of emphasis on the writing because that's where all their ideas come, their vocabulary, their grammar, and it's a more productive piece. So the writing component is one that we do tend to look at a little bit more. So when the students come in, they test, and then based on their scores, all the scores are put into an Excel spreadsheet and calculated, and then it gives you the student's level. However, that being said, we do understand that when the students arrive, there is that culture shock. There's a bit of homesickness, there's jet lag. So we do place the students based on that first assessment. However, there is, let's call it a grace period of 2 to 3 weeks where we are still assessing the new students and their levels, because sometimes we found that the test doesn't really tell us the proper level because of all those other factors that are involved. So there is a chance for students to move out. So if we see that the student is too high for that level, then we move them into the next level. But we try to do it in the first 2 to 3 weeks so it's not as disruptive for them when they do move and they haven't missed as much content from the other classes.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And just to give a little bit more context, so we bring our new boarding students in a week early for a week of orientation, settling in period, a chance to make friends, meet teachers, as well as get all of the sort of administrative tasks done, such as English proficiency testing. Now there is in the admissions process, there's a minimum English testing proficiency that we identify through things like TOEFL and the OOPT. So we have a rough sense from that assessment, but then we really want to drill down with additional testing as well as getting to know the student personally. It's really important for us to put you in the right level. And if if we need to tweak that level, because for us, it's about meeting you where you are, but moving you forward. The goal is that, the ESOL classes are going to be part of your development, and eventually you're going to be able to advance into, the upper level classes. But the ESOL support never goes away, right? Can students?
No, the ESOL support never goes away. And just to add on about assessments, the students do reassess in November. So that's another opportunity for students to move. We do have a lot of students that, move out in November to college prep classes for English. But we're always available, and we do have a lot of students that come back to look for, to have support, to ask for extra help. We're always there for them. We also, we have tutoring, but they do know that the support is always available if they do need it. So.
Yeah, I think it's really cool when, you have somebody that you worked with as a ninth or a 10th grader come to you right before graduation senior year, and they're like, hey, Miss Z, can you help me with this paper? So that relationship, obviously, that you've built through the ESOL work is personal. It's not just about learning the language and moving you on. It's a real support level that never goes away. You're going to be making relationships with people from this department. Let's talk a little bit about the big picture of how this looks on a transcript. Do ESOL classes, is it a disadvantage when our students are applying for universities and colleges?
No, it's not. And I've always, sometimes because I teach the younger, the ninth graders, and sometimes that is a concern, but I've always told them that learning another language or having another language that is always a plus. And I think when colleges, the admissions look at their transcript and see that growth, so they've moved through the ESOL program and, they've moved into CP or IB, I think they see it as progress, and the students, push themselves to succeed. So I've never seen it, as a hindrance to them at all. In fact, I think it's a plus if I was an admissions person, to see that they are learning another language or they know another language.
Right. I think the important point to keep in mind for our international families is, yes, it's important to take advanced classes, but it is more important to do well in those advanced classes. So, really being logical in preparing, setting a student up for success it doesn't matter where you start, it's where you finish in the eyes of an admissions person at the college level. And as Ms. Z said, it's about showing progress. And the ESOL program is a great opportunity to show that kind of progress, but also in a very real way sets you up for success when you do get to those, in the 11th and 12th grade, you get to the AP and maybe some IB classes, or the IB diploma, that you're prepared to be successful when you get there.
Mhm.
That it's not about prestige. First of all, the ESOL program, the content is the same, so you're not getting a lesser version of the courses. And in many ways, you're getting more of what you need. Talk a little bit about the um, the class that we have that works on public speaking, because that is a 21st century skill that is vital. And it's also one of the biggest fears that I encounter when talking with international students. They're worried about being put in a position to present in public and speak in front of the class. That's scary to anybody. Uh, we're very intentional in developing that skill.
Yes. So our global speaking class is an
That's what it's called. I
Yes.
couldn't remember what
It's an elective class, and for some of our students, we do place them in there just to help them with their speaking. For some, they just need a little bit more practice, and for some, it's the public speaking part where they know what they want to say, they have the information in their head, but once they're standing up in front of a group, it's tough, and a lot of people, adults as well, have difficulty sometimes speaking in front of a large group. So the global speaking class, it teaches the students, debate skills, how to present, if they're giving a project. So it gives them opportunities to practice these different speaking skills and gives them the confidence that they need, that when they are in their other classes, that they don't feel as shy or as, worried when they do have to step in front of the crowd. So.
Yeah, and as an Apple Distinguished school, there's only about 400 in the world, so the Apple Distinguished tag really indicates that we're one of the world's most innovative high schools in terms of how we use technology in the classroom. So that global speaking class also has technology integrated in it.
Mm-hmm.
How to use technology to give effective presentations. That's a life skill.
Mm-hmm.
And public speaking is one of those things that you can study it in theory, but you really have to do it to get better at it. And I think taking it as part of the ESL program is a very safe place to learn those skills, because it's a smaller class. Our ESOL classes are intentionally smaller. Less pressure and more, it's an understanding audience.
Yes.
Um,
And sometimes, we have to reiterate to the students that not only are you presenting, but you're presenting in a language that is not your first language. That's tough for anybody. No matter how strong or how proficient you might be in that language, it's still not your first language. So I think sometimes when they understand that, then they're like, oh, okay, because then they know that the audience understands it, that.
Mm-hmm. Much of your English is going to develop, your English ability is going to develop organically through social interactions, campus activities. So, a lot of personal mentoring on social skills happens in the ESL program. You want to give some examples of that? I know we have some unusual, from a perspective of an international student, we have some unusual campus traditions and events that pop up throughout the year, and it's always interesting to see how much our international students jump right into the culture of campus, and I think that's because of what you do in the ESL program.
Well, we have one of our ESL teachers, Bogi McSai, she runs the Multicultural Club. So we have a lot of students, international students, who are part of that club. And each week in the spring, they put on different events that bring everybody together, which the students are really involved in and participate in. We also have Spirit Week in the beginning. It's actually part of homecoming. So each day is a different theme and you dress up. It could be like Crazy Wednesday, but it's great because the kids get really involved and they take pictures, and we try to make it also like an ESOL in our classes. Let's all try and dress up, let's see how many people can participate, and once they see us, we're dressing up, they kind of get into it as well, so it builds a lot of school spirit and community. So it's fun.
Yeah, I think of our Great Gatsby day, where everybody dressed in like roaring 20s, and for a new student, they think, is this real? Are we actually going to do this? And it's these activities that kind of we have fun as a campus community, and it brings us together.
It does, and it is fun because the Great Gatsby party idea, I think it started about 3 years ago. But as the years have sort of gone on, more and more students are getting involved in the dressing up part, and they really enjoy it. But it's fun, a great tradition that we have there.
Yeah, and something like a pep rally, that's a foreign concept to most international students. So it helps to kind of explain ahead of time what it's gonna be like and what's gonna happen, and so you don't feel like an observer. You feel like, okay, I know what's going on and I'm participating and having fun with everybody else.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about take somebody through a career at North Broward Prep. So a student comes in from an international student. Their English is at a decent level, but it's still would present an obstacle if we just plug them right into a purely English class. What does the arc of their time at North Broward Prep look like?
With each student, it is very different about, their progression. So again, that's where we as a department, as teachers, make sure we know each student really well, because that's part of knowing where their strengths and areas of improvement are and how we can help them and support them. So we have a lot of support within the program as well. We also, sometimes part of what is holding the student back is their writing. So we have a writing course that the students can take, which has been, our teacher who teaches it is phenomenal. And she really pushes the students, and they've been able to make a lot of progress. Again, we test the students again in November and then again in May. And then they have the summer to study. So it really depends on the student, but most students move through the course, through each level within a year. So some move faster and some need a little bit more time, but most of them do move at the pace they're supposed to, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So most of our students that start in, ESL 1 at the most basic level, they need a ton of support coming in.
Yeah.
What does that look like on the back end when they're 11th and 12th graders? Are many of them taking advanced classes? Have they progressed like that?
Yes. When, the students that are in 11th and 12th grade, a lot of them are in the IBB. They're in the IB program, and they take IBB, which is the language B portion of IB. It's very rigorous. Our teachers, both of them push them, but a lot of them end up taking AP and IB courses. A lot of them end up in honors English. So they do push themselves, because they know what they want, so they're going to do what they have to do to get there. Because a lot of them want, the high level science, the high level math, the econ classes, the business entrepreneurship classes. So in order to get those classes, they've got to really push themselves in that English portion.
Can you point to any examples of students who've started off in basic ESOL classes who've gone on to very prestigious universities?
Well, we've had students that have started in the basic level of ESOL 1, and they're now at schools Connecticut, Penn State. So they're at colleges that they've also wanted to go to. We had a student who actually came in as a level 0 and is now at Boston University. So we do have a lot of students that have progressed. And I think, have gotten what they've wanted, college-wise and through their time at North Broward. So it's been good.
Yeah, so there's no ceiling placed on our ESOL kids. They're going to Ivy League schools, in the same percentage that our overall population is. They're getting first choice college acceptances, and those are really the feel good success things that keep us doing what we're doing. To see a student come in and they're shy and they have a language barrier, and then watch them become this, leader on campus, confident. That's why we do what we do. That's the life of a teacher.
Yes, it is. And it's true. We've seen so many kids who've come in who are very shy, and they've just blossomed being at North Broward and just from day to day. And it's just, when you watch them cross the stage, it's just that proud moment, knowing how far they've come and push themselves to get where they've gotten. So it's nice.
So, obviously ESOL and the support they get right off the bat has a lot to do with that. But what other aspects of our school community do you feel are responsible for helping students develop that way? Do you want to talk a little bit about our culture when it comes to, our global campus?
I would say, everybody, all the teachers at North Broward, all the faculty have that responsibility. They feel it as well. Every student is different, and every student needs that attention. And I think that all our teachers are very welcoming. They make sure that they're giving the students the support they need across the board. And, we've got other teachers that are involved in also the residential program where they work on the weekends. We have teachers that tutor, but at North Broward, we're just a very open community and a very welcoming community. And I even, when we have tours going on or parents on campus and somebody's lost and you watch our students, the way they approach them and how polite they are and open, it's just that proud moment you have of, wow, everybody's just so welcoming at North Broward.
Yeah, so about a third of our high school students are boarding students, and most of our boarding students are international. So you can basically say that about a third of our school population is international. So the 2/3 of local families that choose our school, the number one reason that they give is that they want to go to school with kids from around the world. They're attracted to North Broward Prep because of our global makeup. So as an international student, you're going to encounter local students who are very interested in you and very open and very, they're at this school because you're here,
Yep.
So you should come in feeling confident that you're going to be welcomed by not only the teachers who that's their profession, but also, your classmates are going to be very open and interested in you as well. So it's something I'm super proud of about our campus. It's been a pleasure to explore the ESOL program with you. Is there any area that I haven't asked about that you want to highlight?
No, I think we touched on everything, the levels and just the importance of, making sure our students within the program feel confident and we create an environment where they feel that they can be who they are, and that, we're always preparing them for success. And I think that's across the board, obviously, at North Broward. But I think I touched on everything that I needed to, and it was wonderful to be here and speak to you today. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. One of the most important departments on campus. So I've been looking forward to this conversation for quite some time. And, as we're on summer break right now, I know you're joining me from a different time zone. Where are you right now?
In England. So
Okay. So that's home for you?
it is, yes. That's where
Yeah.
everyone lives, mom, dad, brother, sister, everyone. I'm the only one in America, so.
Well, being part of the Nord Anglia education system, as North Broward Prep is, one of the advantages of that is that we draw our faculty from the world. We're not just hiring the best from this area. We're able to hire the best from the world. So that's another layer of diversity that is really beneficial at our campus. Is that your teachers are going to understand the culture differences and what you're going through, because many of them are international as well. So Miss Z is a great example of that, but she's just one of many.
Yeah.
So, well, I thank everybody for joining us today, and I look forward to working with each of you through the admissions process, and look forward to seeing you on campus. Thanks, everybody, and thanks, Donna, for a great conversation today.
No problem. Thank you.
Bye.